Well, to adults that have kids, I think it's probably crazy, I think. Strange.
I basically spent a year not taking any classes, just doing anything I wanted.
Learning is what happens when you're doing something else. It's an unusual concept that many people don't understand, but really what it is when you're so involved in the game that you're playing or the activity that you're participating in that you sort of forget it's a game, that it comes to life in a way that can only happen when you do it for yourself.
As soon as you walk in there, there's a billion things for you to do. You could sit on the couch, you could read, you could talk. I just don't know the name of the... Talking with someone. And it could be the whole day I spend in one room and I don't even realize it. I know
I think it's absolutely fundamental to the development of kids. You know, they recently discovered that babies need to be held and touched physically as much as possible for them to develop properly. And I think someday they're going to discover that teenagers just have to talk. Because otherwise their brains don't fully develop.
You have one person at the front telling all the people who aren't in the front what to think and what to understand and how to think about things. And I don't think that really works in terms of teaching eloquence and teaching real knowledge.
You see, I just think people generalize too much. They say, you know, apathetic, someone who cares, right wing, left wing, you know, where everything is really just so much more complex than that.
The kids at Fairhaven, what they're able to do is when they really want something to happen, it's really on them to make it. Every problem and good thing at Fairhaven is the kids doing. It's that simple. You outvote the staff 75-9.
If anyone asks me where I go to school, I have like this sort of standard response. Well, I go to a school called Fairhaven. It's democratically run. For example, you know, you get to elect whether or not the staff gets to stay.
This school meeting today is they're trying to pass a rule that you have to get a parent approval on a sheet that says I am allowing my kid to go down to the stream, which I'm totally all for. Yeah, I'm definitely going to school meeting today. You get friends to be on your side, or you go and talk to people. Don't you totally think that this is a great idea? Come to school meeting and vote for it, you know? Or come to school meeting and vote against it. It's a really bad idea.
Well, I say it's sort of like a court. How do I describe it? I basically just say that if you do something wrong, you get written up, and that gets taken to JC, which is a panel made up of people who are students and staff, you know, Fairhaven School meeting members.
The school would not work without JC. It would definitely we wouldn't be able to, the school would just be in so much trouble because...
Then decide your fate by democratic action.
Oh, JC's called Judicial Committee.
Sometimes it can be funny, sometimes it can be really intense, sometimes it's just a quick case.
I try to be really fair about it, and I sit in on JC. I sub whenever I possibly can, and if I can't, I just sit in and watch. So I definitely feel a lot of compassion for both sides, really. You know, one of them, I'm sorry this thing happened to you, which the other person was at fault for, and then again for the defendant, where even though you did something that wasn't good and was against the rules, I'm still sorry that you're going to get in trouble for it. That doesn't outweigh the fact that you are going to get in trouble for it, and I think you probably deserved it.
Not all the world is fair, but this place is as fair as it's probably going to get here in a school.
It's really just the full spread of the human experience. I mean, age, I'm starting to learn, really just isn't so much a factor as who you are.
I like it a lot better than having to like stay with 11-year-olds or stay with 12 to 11-year-olds or 10 to 11 or something like that. Like, I remember I took German with Sarah, Mary, Adrian, and Aaron, and those are people my classmates, and they're all like way older than me.
I mean, I've grown up having friends that have been so much older than me, and I've learned so much from them, and they've been like older siblings to me. But then I've had the younger ones to be like that to them.
I like algebra. I'm doing algebra. Some people gape at me. Oh, you're doing algebra? You're 11. Well, I just say, it doesn't matter how old you are. It just depends on whether or not you're ready to take in the information.
Sometimes I do it twice a week. Sometimes I do it 3 times a week. So, yeah. I can pretty much stop and go whenever I want. So, it's pretty simple.
You know, you say, I want to do this class. Like, I want to take it for an hour on this day. You know, people sign up, you know, and, you know, most of the time you don't get classes over 5 people. If I'm taking, you know, math, just me and Krista is teaching it. And it's like one-on-one, move with me. And I am telling you, if there was 50 other kids doing it, I would be learning the same thing for a month.
I am a fan of algebra. It's fun. It's just really cool figuring out how you can make an equation this long turn into something this big and have an answer. It's, you know, it's enthralling. I walked up to my dad, asked him this question in algebra, and he, for the life of him, couldn't remember even the basics. Something gets violated when you force yourself, really, to learn things that you don't even want to learn. Your being, it feels like your being, your soul, your essence is like... I kind of believe, personally, that if you are trying to learn all these other things that other people want you to learn, you're kind of giving permission for yourself to do something in life you don't really like.
Next week is the second to last week I'm going to be here, and I'm like, whoa. It's pretty weird.
Yeah. Tor makes an excellent point. All questions are to be on the topic of the thesis, which is, has Tor taken responsibility for preparing himself to be an effective adult in the larger community? So please, when you're phrasing your questions, keep that in mind.
Basically writing a defense of your adulthood, and then having to prove that you were actually right there when you do that. When you write it and then people say, you were wrong about this, and you go, well, no, I wasn't, here's why. One way that I intend to adapt to the idea of taking classes, having not done so for quite some time, is remembering that education is in the heart of the listener, not in the voice of the teacher. You learn to be free, while at the same time realizing that there are restrictions you must put on yourself. A wild animal, as opposed to a caged animal, knows chaos and can adapt to it.